All right, to kick off the main card, we have another one of the meatiest OGs out there, Jim Miller, in his 35th UFC fight appearance, which is a UFC record he will tie with Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Jim Miller fought tough in his last fight against Hot Sauce Holtzman, a fight that was only 4 months ago, yet somehow seems like it was a lifetime ago, but he did drop that decision. His fight before that was a quick submission win over none other than Clay Guida, who's fighting immediately before him, which is pretty neat. When he submitted the Carpenter in less than a minute about a year ago. He's fighting Roosevelt Roberts, who just destroyed Brock Weaver, a fight you and I both saw coming. Roberts is tough young Contender Series product. He's got wins over Daryl Horcher, Alexander Yakovlev, and most recently Brock Weaver. His lone loss was to Vince from Hell Pichel. It's a true legend gatekeeper versus young prospect fight here in Miller versus Roberts. It's a real tough test, in my opinion, for a surging Roosevelt Roberts. Just like the odds makers have for Bobby Green, Roberts is a heavy -250 favorite. Is Roosevelt Roberts ready for Jim Miller? Because this is a new test. Definitely the best talent he's seen in his UFC career. Give me your thoughts on this one, Meat Boy.
Yeah, I think the Predator, aka Roberts, is going to smash Jim Miller. I think he's got the height advantage. He's got the reach advantage. Yes, the reach isn't that much bigger, but the legs are still there, so he's going to be able to really keep his distance. And he looked just so good his last fight, so dominant versus Brock Weaver, who was on an 8-fight win streak till he faced the Predator. Like, it just smashed him. It looked so good. So I really don't think Jim Miller is going to pull through on this one, even though I'm a fan. He's an OG, but I think the new upcomer Roberts is going to take this one.
Yeah, I think you bring up an interesting point, especially focusing on Roosevelt Roberts' height, right? He's 6'1". If you watch during the stare downs, he's definitely the longer, taller, more imposing fighter. It brings me back though to about like a year and a half ago. Jim Miller fought a dude named Jason Gonzalez. And Gonzalez had like this little mini hype train kind of behind him, huge, 6'2", lightweight, tall, good-looking dude. And Jim Miller just ran through this guy so hard that the UFC cut Jason Gonzalez like 2 seconds after the fight. So I guess Jim Miller has had success against taller dudes pretty recently. However, Roosevelt Roberts, to your point of him really looking much improved in that last fight against Brock Weaver, I think is a little bit more talented of a fighter than Jason Gonzalez. So while those two fighters might have similar height, I think you make great points in that. Roosevelt Roberts is probably a lot more talented than that guy. You're going with Roberts. How do you think Roberts gets it done?
I think Roberts is going to get it done. Decision, very dominant.
Dominant decision. I'm going to go Jim Miller. I know it's kind of not a consensus pick. There's a lot of hype behind Roosevelt Roberts, and much respect to Roosevelt Roberts. I just think Jim Miller finds a way to make a statement and let the division know he's still here to kind of hold it down as the gatekeeper of things of sorts. So a little bit of a discrepancy in this one. What do the odds say on this one? What do the Tapology odds say for Jim Miller versus Roosevelt Roberts?
Yeah, it looks like about 78% of the people are going with Roberts, 22% are going with you. But the 22% does have a good point. Where Roberts, he did just fight like a month ago. He might not even be recovered, even though it was a dominant fight. He might still be sore and not come 110%. Like, that's gotta be pretty brutal to do that 2 weight cuts, 2 camps, back to back, 2 months apart. Well, if he gets through this and he dominates Jim Miller, we have a very, very tough guy in the division upcoming.
Great points, and I love what you said about the weight cut too. This fight is at 160. They're fighting at a catch weight, so maybe that helps Roosevelt Roberts if he does cut a lot of weight. He is a bigger guy, but interesting points nonetheless. Take it for what it's worth, Meat Boys. We're kind of split on this one. Roosevelt Roberts versus Jim Miller, kicking things off for the main card. Should be a good one. Check out the rest of the videos for more analysis. Meat Boys.